Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Scrap Empire. And we have a great bout for this upcoming UFC fight night. Not for September 25th, ladies and gentlemen, but for this Saturday, September 18th. We're going to be featuring two gentlemen. One that goes by the name of Ion Catelaba, and he's going up against another gentleman by the name of Devin Clark. So let's get started with Ion Catelaba, right? Ion Catelaba, excuse me. Ion Catelaba. He's been practicing Greco-Roman wrestling his entire life. And when I see his posture, when I see his stance, even when I'm observing him moving all across the ring, number one, he's built like a linebacker, or he's built like a Georgian powerlifter. He has a great physique, and he has a proud stance. Number two, he's a tough fighter as well. Very, very, very tough fighter. And he loves to take his opponents on the ground. Now, Catelaba fought Jared Cannonier. Now, see, with Jared, right, we all know that Jared has a reputation of being one of the hardest hitters in the UFC today. Not saying of all time, but he has a reputation of being one of the hardest hitters today. So during the bout in Catelaba, all right, taking control, and he had Jared Cannonier on the ground plenty of times throughout the bout. Not only that, he used his strength to control ground position, right? And that's extremely important when you're taking combat sports seriously, right? You want to be able to control the ground for however long you want to control the ground, right? You don't have that ability to just take your opponent on the ground. You're a limited fighter. And I'm not saying you need a complete package for every fight that you go into, right? As long as you have little basic details, like, because every fighter is going to have one martial art or one specific fighting style that they specialize in. So it seems like Catelaba has a specialty in Greco-Roman wrestling. Same thing with Jared Cannonier. His specialty is standing up. Look at the third round. He let Catelaba hit him with a straight right hand, and he stood there, and he was, as a matter of fact, mocking him. But back to my point, right? You don't need to be a Greco-Roman wrestling Olympic gold medalist, boxing champion. But you still need a certain expertise, not expertise to the highest degree, but you need an expertise in certain, or a little bit of an understanding for certain martial arts, just to have more power under your arsenal, just in case you run somebody who has more of a complete package when it comes to fighting styles, right? Now, Jared Cannonier won this bout unanimously, and I think that Ion Catelaba should have won the bout by unanimous decision. I mean, not by split decision, because during the second round, Jared Cannonier was landing a lot of great strikes, so I have to give him credit for that as well. But we have to analyze why the judges would give Jared Cannonier the decision unanimously. Now, towards the second and third round, right, Catelaba was still controlling ground position, still using his strength to create strikes. But Cannonier, he wasn't being one-dimensional, but he kept on pursuing Catelaba. And it even got to the point where he was making a mockery out of him, right? Because he still stayed confident amidst of all of the takedowns. He still stayed confident amidst of the pressure of the Greco-Roman wrestling style that Ion Catelaba has. So you have somebody like Jared Cannonier. Look at the amount of times I was hitting Catelaba, during the third round, right? That the reason why he was able to do that is because he has experience, right? So that's something that you have to pay attention to, right? Jared Cannonier has a reputation in his division. Now, is he champion? Nobody has reputation. So what comes with reputation? What comes with developing reputation? Experience, right? You could have lost a bout. You could have won. You lose some bouts. You win some bouts. But what does that develop? Experience. And that night, he was able to utilize his experience against Catelaba. Now, let's get started with Devin Clark. He went up against a gentleman by the last name of Stansberry, right? When you look at Devin Clark, oh my, Devin Clark has an exceptional physique. He looks like he does 250 push-ups every day. And he's so defined and he's so cut up. It's incredible. Number one. And number two, the guy, Devin Clark, when you look at the significant strike differences, like towards the end of the third round, when it shows, if you decide to watch the fight between Devin Clark and Stansberry, you'll see that there is a wide margin between significant strikes landed. I think Devin Clark had about 100 significant strikes thrown compared to the 50 or 60 significant strikes that Stansberry threw. Excuse me, guys. Well, I meant to say excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. But see, Devin Clark, when he throws his strikes, right? It's like each punch is literally a battery being thrown at someone. Because that's just how strong he is. That's just what he's exemplified off of his mannerisms, off of the way how his body's moving. That's just what he's showing. And I love that puncher who just, every punch that they throw, every strike is literally a battery coming right at you. Right? And also times throughout the fight where Stansberry wanted to take away Devin Clark's striking. So he wanted to have him, he attempted to put him on the ground. But see, this is when the similarities of Stephen Thompson comes into fruition. Right? Why? Because you can still be one-dimensional, like Devin Clark was against Stansberry. Right? And your opponent will still try to figure you out by taking you on the ground to take away your fighting style, and they still can't do it. So that is what really impressed me with Devin Clark. I'm really fascinated how, amidst of him constantly, he's not predictable, but he repeats some of the same movements. There's nothing wrong with repeating some of the same movements. Look at Valentina Shevchenko. Watch her fight. Watch her fight. Watch how one-dimensional she is. She's still a great fighter. Not taking anything away from her, right? He's literally repeating movements. I mean, he was still moving around. I'm just talking about like jabs and stuff. Like there wasn't really any like combinations and ladder moving behind his strikes. Basic strikes. He's constantly throwing basic strikes repetitively, and his opponent can't do anything about it. Even with him trying to take Devin Clark on the ground, still can't do anything about it. And it's interesting and fascinating, right? Now, guys, I'm not saying that Ion Catelaba can't beat Devin Clark. It's just, again, Catelaba lost to Jared Cannonier, who is an excellent striker, right? Not only is Devin Clark a ruthless striker, he's also strong. And Salisbury, who attempted to have him on the ground multiple times throughout the fight, couldn't have him on the ground. So even if Catelaba uses his Greco-Roman wrestling experience to attempt to, to attempt a chokehold against Devin Clark, is it going to work? Because Devin Clark is strong, and he isn't willing to just tap out as soon as he gets to the ground. He knows how to defend himself when he's standing up or when he's on the ground. So I'm not underestimating Ion Catelaba, but I just don't see him beating Devin Clark. I just see Devin Clark as the more. He has a style that is. He has a style that can allow him to beat Catelaba. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Scrap Empire. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for taking the time out of your lives to watch my content. I highly appreciate it. And please leave any constructive criticism or feedback that you think will allow me to help elevate my channel as well, please. Thank you all so much for watching my content. I'll be speaking to you guys soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.